Welcome to Programming with Professor Caleb. In this video, I want to introduce you to abstract classes and methods in Java. As we create class hierarchies to take advantage of inheritance, we sometimes will have parent classes where we don't want people to make objects out of those classes. The class contains useful data and functionality that all of our child classes need, but it doesn't make sense to make objects that are just the parent class. When we have a situation like that, we define the parent class as abstract. What that means is that we're not allowed to make objects of that type, but we can make object reference variables of that type that reference objects belonging to the child classes, just like we can with other inheritance situations. So suppose we have a bank account class that's declared abstract, and it has two children, checking account and savings account. And those are not abstract classes. We usually call those concrete classes. I can't actually create a bank account object. If I do, this will be a syntax error. Doesn't work. But I could create a savings account. I could also create a checking account. In abstract classes, we sometimes will have methods that we want to guarantee our subclasses will have, but that we don't want to implement in the superclass. Just like we declare the classes to be abstract, we declare those methods abstract, which allows us to just declare them, but not actually implement them. With our bank account example, we might have a due monthly processing method. Bank account needs to declare it so that we can call it with all of our objects using bank account reference variables. But bank account doesn't know how to actually do it because it's different for checking accounts versus savings accounts. Any class that has an abstract method must be an abstract class. So if any subclasses are to actually be usable, they're required to implement the abstract methods. Let's pop over to Visual Studio Code and take a look at how this actually works. So here we are in Visual Studio Code, and I've created a bankaccount.java file where we'll start. And so I want this to be a class, but I want this to be an abstract class. So public abstract class bank account. I'm going to go ahead and put some data here. Instead of making it private, for simplicity, I'm going to go ahead and make our balance protected. I'm going to make the string, the ID, the account number, private string, because I don't see my child classes having to get into the account number itself. But the balance life was going to be a lot easier if I allow them access. There are ways around that, but we'll go ahead and just make it protected, which will allow my child classes to actually do things to the balance. And then we're going to go ahead and set up constructors for this bank account class, because it makes our life a lot easier if we go ahead and do that. Even though we won't make bank account objects, we will be calling the constructor using the super keyword from our child classes. We'll go ahead and make a couple. I'm going to make one that just takes the account number. This dot account number gets account num, and we'll leave the balance at 0 in that case. And we'll do a second one that actually takes both the new account number and the balance. And then this dot balance gets balance. Now, there are things that the bank account knows how to do that sort of work the same for all of my different accounts. For example, I know how to deposit, I know how to withdraw. So we can go ahead and write a fairly standard, been doing too much C++ lately, need my public keywords here. So, though technically I could make that protected because I'll only call it from child classes. We'll go ahead and leave it public. So public void. Well, first let's make a get balance. So get balance, return balance. And I'm leaving out my comments here in the interests of time. Public void deposit. We're going to assume here that deposits are always going to work. Not always the case, but in general, we're writing a very simplified version of this, so we can do that. So balance gets balance plus amount to deposit. On the other hand, we'll go ahead and have our withdraw fail. Or able to fail. It's greater than equal to amount to withdraw. And then balance will get balance minus the amount to withdraw. Otherwise, we will print a message attempted to overdraw. And return false. And in this case, we will return true because it worked. Okay, then the last thing I want to do here is demonstrate the abstract method. So I said maybe we would have a monthly processing method. So that's going to just be a void. It does stuff. We'll call it do monthly processing. We're not going to have it take any data or anything. And what we're going to do is to actually come back here and declare this as abstract. You notice that before I added that abstract keyword, if I leave that out, this is underlined because it isn't implemented. It requires a body instead of a semicolon. But when I make that abstract, then we're fine because it's an abstract method. That's saying, hey, I'm not going to implement it here. It's going to be implemented in a child class. So then our next step will be writing that child class. Let's go ahead and create a new file and save that as, we'll go ahead and do checking account .java. And this will be class checking account. And then remember our keyword for I'm inheriting from another one, bank account. Now, this is underlined right now. And that's because I need to handle constructor things, and it's going to have to implement this inherited abstract method. So I'm going to give this one private variable, which will be a monthly fee. And let's go ahead and set up some constructors. So public checking account, and we'll have one that takes the account number and the fee. And now this is going to call super and pass it account num. This dot monthly fee gets the monthly fee that came in. And then we'll have a second constructor public checking account string account num double the balance and double monthly fee. And so in this case, we'll call super with both the account num and the balance. Which are named the same. So that's fine. And then again, this dot monthly fee gets monthly fee. Then we still have this underline because we haven't implemented do monthly processing yet. So we need to do that. And of course that was public void do monthly processing. Didn't have any parameters. And I'm just going to make this balance gets balance minus monthly fee. So we'll keep that pretty simple. And I'd like to go ahead and create a savings account.java. So let's go ahead and make another file and save that as savings account.java. And that will be savings account class, which will extend bank account. And then we'll do similar kinds of things. So I'm actually going to sort of copy and paste and change. Save us a little bit of time. So we're going to actually have an interest rate. Let me go ahead and call that annual interest rate, just so it's clear. Our savings account will get an interest rate. So annual interest rate gets interest rate. And then this will be interest rate. This will be savings account. And this will be annual interest rate. Interest rate. Then our due monthly processing will actually get balance gets balance plus balance times the annual interest rate divided by 12 for a monthly interest rate. And before we can really see what's going on with these a little bit more, I need to actually do something that will let us print out some data. So I'm going to add a toString to just the bank account, and we'll just print the account num and the balance in it. Now, obviously, we could also override toString in the others, but we've already demonstrated how to do that. So at the moment, I'm really just concerned about let's get something that will get us some basic information. We're going to return, and we're going to do this very simply. We're just going to return the account num plus a space plus the balance. And, you know, we are going to be good enough to actually format that balance. So number format is assigned number format dot get currency instance. And then we'll make this format dot format and get the balance. Okay, that way it's nice and pretty. And this way we can see what has happened as we do things. So now I'm going to create a quick little class for trying this out. So let's make a new file and save that as bank stuff.java. And we'll put a main in there. And I'm going to, first of all, just demonstrate to you that if I try to create a bank account, that I cannot do it. Make that $500. So we see the issue here is cannot instantiate the type bank account. In other words, you're not allowed to make an instance of or create an object of the type bank account because bank account is abstract. I can make that a savings account and go ahead and throw in there a 1% annual. I could also create a checking account. And actually, we're going to skip the initial balance. We'll assume that there's a $5 monthly fee. And we can deposit things. Go ahead and print these out. So system.out.println. Account 1 plus account 1. System.out.println. Account 2 plus account 2. Dot deposit 200. Then I can go ahead and call monthly processing on each of these. And let's add additional prints of these after each of these. And we'll see that we have the account 1, 2. Account 1 had 100 deposited in it. Account 2 had 200 deposited in it. Account 1, after the monthly processing, increased its total contents, while account 2 lost the $5. So this is the idea behind abstract classes and abstract methods. Thanks for watching. In the next video, I'll be talking about Java interfaces.